Shalom, this is Rabbi Jonathan Ginsburg, as Rabbi Now's Township Jewish Congregation in Skokie, Illinois. This video is about the saddest day of the Jewish calendar, Tisha b'Av, the 9th of Av. There's a 3-week period in the summer beginning with the 17th of Tammuz, culminating in the 9th of Av, which is a very sad period. In fact, even after a couple thousand years, we still don't preside over Jewish weddings during that period because of the destructions that we commemorate. The 17th of Tammuz was the beginning of the breaching of the walls of Jerusalem, culminating in the fall of the temple. The 9th of Av commemorates many historic tragedies, which all happened to be on that day. The first major tragedy was in 586, when the Jews still had the magnificent Solomon's temple built in the 900s BCE. The Babylonians came and destroyed the holy temple and exiled the Jews to Babylonia. Then right after that, the Persians defeated the Babylonians and let the Jews go back and rebuild the temple, which stood until the 9th of Av in the year 70 of the Common Era, when the Romans destroyed it and scattered the Jews. But the Jews didn't leave and end their campaign against Rome and wanting independence and freedom, because in 132 to 135 there was a campaign against Rome led by Bar Kokhba and Rabbi Akiva, which ended disastrously. And the tradition is that the last stand of the fighters at Beitar fell on the 9th of Av in that year, in 135. And then later on in Jewish history, many other tragic events occurred on that day, including the expulsion from Spain in 1492 of Spanish Jewry by Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand. And so this day is a very sad day in Jewish tradition, marked with fasting. We read the biblical book of Lamentations, Echa, which purportedly was written by King Solomon, witnessing the destroyed and desolate city of Jerusalem. There's a unique tune for the book that's only used for that book. And in the European tradition, it sounds basically like this. Echa yashva bada da 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 da. That is a brief account of the 9th of Av, the saddest day of the calendar, a day of reflecting on the horrible tragedies that occurred on that day. Various theological ideas about why they occurred. Some Jews blame ourselves for the sins that we committed, causing God to bring disfavor. I'm not a big fan of that viewpoint. I don't agree with it. I think blaming Jews for anti-Semitic and horrible hatred of Jews and destruction by others is ridiculous. But if it gives us an opportunity to reflect on what we can do to improve, that's great. For example, one of the classic rabbinic ideas was because of causeless hatred among Jews, the temple fell. Well, there is a little validity to that, because supposedly during the siege of Jerusalem in 70, the general and the emperor of Rome, who were there and discussing what to do, they said, let's just sit back and wait, and the Jews will beat each other up, and then it'll be easier for us to mop up the battles between the Sadducees and the Pharisees and the Essenes and the Zealots. So we need Jewish unity. So that is Tisha b'Av, and it's time to reflect on the tragedies of Jewish history, even though we move forward with glory and hope.